Hey wonderful people, I'm Anish, and welcome to another episode of Family Tales. Today's story starts with a wife asking her husband a hypothetical question about cheating and ends with him uncovering 4 months of lies, packing her bags himself, and leaving a note that turns her entire life upside down. Hypothetically, you're homeless. Let's get into it. I, 36, have been married to my wife for 8 years. Together for 11 total. We met at a friend's barbecue back when we were both young and dumb and thought love was enough. Spoiler, it's not. But I digress. 3 weeks ago, we were sitting on the couch watching some true crime documentary, one of those cheating spouse murder shows she loves so much. Ironic, looking back. During a commercial break, she muted the TV and turned to me with this expression I couldn't quite read. Hey, random question. Shoot. Hypothetically, if I cheated on you, would you forgive me? I didn't even have to think about it. No, she laughed, but it wasn't her real laugh. It was that nervous laugh she does when she's caught off guard, the same one she did when I found out she dented my truck and tried to blame it on a shopping cart. Just like that? No hesitation? Nope, cheating's a deal breaker, you know that. But what if it was just once, and I was really sorry? Still no. Why are you asking me this? She waved her hand dismissively. Just the show got me thinking. You know how these things go, wondering what our boundaries are. Our boundaries are no cheating, pretty straightforward. She unmuted the TV. Subject closed. Or so she thought. Here's the thing about being married to someone for almost a decade. You learn their tells. You know when they're lying about finishing the last of the ice cream. You know when they're pretending to like your mother's cooking. And you know when a hypothetical question isn't hypothetical at all. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying the conversation, the nervous laugh, the follow-up questions, the way she didn't quite meet my eyes. My gut was screaming that something was wrong. Around 2 a.m., she was dead asleep. She takes melatonin and sleeps like a rock. I did something I'd never done in 11 years together. I checked her phone. Her passcode hasn't changed since we started dating. 0814. Our anniversary. The irony wasn't lost on me. I found him in about 30 seconds. He was saved under Gym Buddy, even though my wife hasn't been to a gym since 2019. The messages went back 4 months. 4 months. I'm not going to repeat everything I read, because honestly some of it made me want to throw up. But here are the highlights. They'd been physical at least a dozen times. They met at her company's quarterly retreat in March. She told him our marriage was basically over and that I was emotionally unavailable. She'd been telling him she was planning to leave me once the timing was right. There were photos. I didn't look at all of them. Couldn't. The kicker? The most recent message, sent at 11:47 p.m. that night, while she was sitting next to me on the couch, was her telling him about our hypothetical conversation. Her text. Asked him the hypothetical question, lol. He said no. Guess I know where I stand now. His response, maybe that's your sign to finally leave him, babe. Her, soon. Just need to figure out the house situation first. I sat in our bathroom for an hour reading through 4 months of lies. My hands were shaking, not from anger, that came later. From the surreal feeling of watching your entire life rearrange itself in real time. When I finally put her phone back and climbed into bed, she rolled over and mumbled, "Love you," in her sleep. I stared at the ceiling until sunrise. The next morning, I called in sick to work. She left for her job at 8:30, kissed my forehead, told me she hoped I felt better. Normal morning routine, like she hadn't been planning to leave me for months. Once her car was out of the driveway, I got to work. First things first. I needed to understand my legal situation. Our house is in both our names, but I put down the entire down payment, $65,000 from my inheritance when my grandmother passed. We've been paying the mortgage jointly for 6 years, but she's never contributed more than 30% of household expenses. I make roughly twice what she does. I called a divorce attorney. Consultation that afternoon. He was blunt. In our state, adultery doesn't affect asset division much. The house would likely be sold and split, or one of us buys out the other. Her affair wouldn't change that. Welcome to no-fault divorce states. But here's what he did tell me. Document everything. Screenshots. Timestamps. Because while adultery doesn't affect asset division, it can affect credibility if things get contentious. I screenshot every single message, every photo, every lying word, backed them up to 3 different cloud accounts and a USB drive I hid at my brother's place. Then I started packing her bags. Not all of her stuff. That would take days. But enough. Clothes for 2 weeks, toiletries, the expensive skincare products she loves, her laptop. I was methodical, calm. It was almost therapeutic. I put everything in our guest room. Then I wrote a note and left it on the kitchen counter. Hypothetically, if you've been cheating on me for 4 months with someone saved as Gym Buddy in your phone, you might want to call him for a place to stay tonight. Because hypothetically, you're homeless. Your bags are in the guest room. I'll be at my brother's until you're gone. Sincerely, your emotionally unavailable husband. I grabbed my laptop, some clothes, and drove to my brother's house. My phone started blowing up around 6:15 p.m. First text, "What the hell is this note?" Second text, "You went through my phone?" Third text, "This is insane, we need to talk." Fourth text, "You can't just kick me out of my own house." Fifth text, "Call me." I didn't respond. I'd already talked to my lawyer. She was right, I couldn't technically kick her out, but I also didn't have to be there, and she could spend the night figuring out her next move. My brother handed me a beer and didn't ask questions. Good man. Update 1. 4 days later. Alright, let me catch everyone up, because this situation has escalated in ways I didn't fully anticipate. After my initial post, I got a lot of DMs asking for updates. Thanks for the support. It helps more than you know. So here's what happened. I stayed at my brother's place for 2 nights. During that time, my wife called me 23 times. I answered once, on the second night, because she threatened to call the police and report me missing. I'm not missing. I'm at my brother's. We need to talk about this. There's nothing to talk about. I saw the messages, all of them. It's not what you think. You told him our marriage was basically over. You sent him photos. You've been sleeping with him for months. What exactly am I misunderstanding? Silence. Then, I made a mistake. Mistakes are forgetting to pick up milk. You made a choice. For 4 months. Can you please just come home so we can discuss this like adults? I'll come home when you're ready to move out. My lawyer will be in touch. She started crying. I hung up. The next day, I went home while she was at work. Changed the locks on the garage door, the one with the keypad she uses. She still had her house key, so she could get in the front door, but she'd figure out pretty quick that things were changing. Was it petty? Yeah. Did it feel good? Also, yeah. That evening, the real circus began. Her mother called me. This woman has never liked me, always thought her daughter settled by marrying a project manager instead of a doctor or lawyer. Now she was calling to lecture me about marriage. You can't just abandon your wife over one mistake. With all due respect, this doesn't involve you. She's my daughter. Of course it involves me. She told me everything. She said you went through her phone like some kind of stalker. She's been cheating on me for 4 months. Because you neglected her. She told me you're never emotionally available, never romantic anymore. What did you expect? I actually laughed at that one. I expected her not to sleep with someone else. Crazy, right? You're being unreasonable. Marriage takes work. You don't just give up. I'm not giving up. I'm letting go of someone who already checked out months ago. Have a good night. Hung up, blocked her number. The next morning, my wife tried a different approach. She showed up at my office, just walked right into the building and asked the receptionist to page me. My coworker gave me a heads up before I walked into the lobby. Found her standing there with coffee and a pastry bag from my favorite bakery. Please. 15 minutes, that's all I'm asking. Against my better judgment, I agreed. We went to the courtyard outside my building. I ended it with him, she said immediately. It's over. I blocked his number, deleted everything. Good for you. I mean it. I know I messed up. I know I hurt you. But 8 years, you're really going to throw that away? I didn't throw anything away. You did. It was a mistake. You keep calling it that. 4 months isn't a mistake, it's a lifestyle choice. I was confused. Our marriage felt stale. I didn't know how to talk to you about it. So instead of talking to your husband, you talked to some guy from a work retreat, with your clothes off. She flinched. That's not fair. None of this is fair. You asked me a hypothetical question while you were actively cheating on me. You wanted to know if I'd forgive you so you could gauge whether to confess or keep lying. That's not. Your text said, "Guess I know where I stand now," with a laughing emoji. You weren't asking out of guilt. You were asking out of strategy. She didn't have an answer for that. My lawyer will be sending you papers. I suggest you get one too. I left her sitting there with the coffee and the pastries. Didn't look back. That night, I found out she'd told her entire friend group that I was controlling and emotionally abusive, and that's why she sought comfort elsewhere. The narrative was already spinning. Her best friend texted me, "Can't believe you're doing this to her. She told us everything. You should be ashamed." I responded with a single screenshot of a text exchange where my wife described in detail what she and her gym buddy had done in a hotel room during her work trip. The best friend didn't respond after that. Funny how that works. Update 2 weeks later. Things have gotten messier, but also clearer, if that makes sense. After my wife's failed office ambush, she switched tactics. Went full victim mode. Started telling everyone who would listen that I was mentally abusive, that I controlled all the finances. I don't. That I isolated her from friends. I didn't. And that her affair was a trauma response to years of emotional neglect. Her mother amplified this on social media. Vague posts about believing women and recognizing abuse when you see it. Never named me directly, but anyone who knows our situation knew exactly who she was talking about. My own mother called me furious. Not at me, at them. That woman is going around telling people you're abusive? After what she did, I'm about to drive over there and, "Mom, please don't. This is going to get handled legally. I just don't understand how she can lie like this." Because it's easier than admitting she's the bad guy. The legal stuff started moving. We filed for divorce. I filed first, which my lawyer said was important for optics and procedural reasons. My wife was served at work. According to a mutual acquaintance, she caused a scene in the parking lot, crying and screaming at the process server. Then came the financial discovery phase. This is where it got interesting. My lawyer requested full financial disclosure. Standard stuff. My wife's lawyer complied, and we found something unexpected. She'd been moving money. Not a lot. We keep separate accounts for personal spending. But over the past 4 months, she'd transferred about $8,500 from her personal account to a new account I didn't know existed. An account that, according to the transaction history, had been used for hotel rooms, expensive dinners, and a weekend trip to a casino resort. All while telling me she was visiting her sister and going to work conferences. My lawyer's exact words, "This helps us significantly." The house situation was trickier. Like I mentioned, it's in both our names. I put down the down payment, but the mortgage payments have been joint. My lawyer advised that the cleanest solution was for me to buy her out. We got an appraisal. The house had appreciated nicely. Her equity share would be around $85,000. $85,000 to someone who spent 4 months betraying me while planning to leave me when the timing was right. But here's the thing. Paying her out meant she'd leave faster. And at this point, I just wanted her gone. We made an offer. She countered. Back and forth for a week. Finally settled on $92,000. She wanted pain and suffering compensation on top of equity. My lawyer advised me to take it rather than drag things out in court. I swallowed my pride and agreed. But I wasn't done yet. See, throughout this whole process, my wife kept insisting she'd ended things with her affair partner. Blocked him, deleted everything, reformed woman. I didn't believe her. I still had access to our shared cell phone account, the one I pay for, the one I could see call and text logs on without accessing her actual phone. Guess whose number showed up 3 times in the past week? She hadn't ended anything. She'd just gotten better at hiding it. I forwarded the phone logs to my lawyer. Documented proof that she was still in contact with him while simultaneously trying to negotiate a higher settlement by claiming she was committed to rebuilding trust. Her lawyer got an interesting email. 2 days later, she dropped her demand for additional compensation. Settlement finalized at $85,000, her actual equity share. No more, no less. Small victory, but I'll take it. Final update 6 weeks later. It's done. The divorce was finalized last Tuesday. Took about 5 weeks from filing to final decree, which my lawyer said was remarkably fast. Helped that we had no kids, and once the financial stuff was settled, there wasn't much to fight about. Final outcome, I keep the house, refinanced in my name only. She got her $85,000 equity payout. We split our retirement accounts 50-50. I lost about $40,000 there, which stings. She keeps her car, I keep mine. No alimony. Her lawyer tried for it, arguing that she'd become accustomed to a certain lifestyle. Judge wasn't having it, given her income and the short duration until adultery was discovered. The day she came to pick up the rest of her things was surreal. I had my brother there as a witness, lawyer's advice. She showed up with her mother and a U-Haul. Her mother glared at me the entire time. Didn't say a word. Fine by me. My wife, ex-wife now, tried one more time as they were loading the last boxes. I hope you know I really am sorry for all of it. Okay. I never meant for any of this to happen. And yet it did. Maybe someday we can, I don't know, be friends, or at least not hate each other. I don't hate you, I just don't trust you, and I don't want you in my life. She looked like she wanted to say more. Her mother grabbed her arm and steered her toward the U-Haul. They drove away. I stood in my driveway and felt nothing. Not relief, not sadness, not anger, just emptiness. 11 years, and it ended with a U-Haul in the driveway on a Tuesday afternoon. The aftermath has been weird. I lost some mutual friends, the ones who bought her abuse narrative. Kept the ones who knew better. My family has been incredible, my brother especially. He let me crash at his place for a week, helped me change the locks, sat with me while I ugly cried into a bottle of whiskey one night when it all hit me. I found out through the grapevine what happened with the affair partner. Turns out he's married too. Has been for 12 years. 2 kids. His wife found out about the affair roughly 2 weeks after I did. Apparently my wife wasn't the only woman he was coaching at the gym. Yeah. My wife wasn't even his only affair. She was one of 3. His wife filed for divorce. He's apparently living in an extended stay hotel and paying child support plus alimony while his now ex-wife keeps their house. As for my ex, last I heard, she's living in a small apartment with her mother. The $85,000 went faster than she expected. First and last month's rent, a new car after her old one died, credit card debt she'd apparently been hiding. She's already asking her friends for money, according to the same grapevine. The gym buddy, who was supposedly going to leave his wife for her? He stopped responding to her texts after his divorce went through. Shocker. Someone once told me that cheaters don't think ahead. They live in the fantasy of the affair, the excitement, the secrecy, the validation. They don't consider what happens when the fantasy crashes into reality. My ex found out the hard way. I'm not going to pretend I'm thriving. Some days are harder than others. I still reach for her side of the bed sometimes before I remember. I still almost text her when something funny happens at work. 11 years of habit doesn't disappear overnight, but I'm okay. I'm figuring out who I am without her, which is something I haven't done since my 20s. The house feels too big for one person, but I'm not ready to sell it yet. Maybe I'll get a dog. Maybe I'll rent out the spare room. Haven't decided. What I do know is this. That night she asked me the hypothetical question. I gave her an honest answer. I told her cheating was a deal breaker. She had every opportunity to come clean, to end the affair, to actually work on our marriage. She chose not to. And now she gets to live with that choice. Hypothetically, I could have forgiven her. Hypothetically, we could have gone to counseling, worked through it, emerged stronger. But hypothetically doesn't mean anything when someone's already decided to leave you. She wasn't asking for permission to confess. She was testing whether she'd get caught. She got caught, and now she's someone else's problem. I caught my wife cheating, and she screamed, "At least he makes me feel alive." I calmly said, "Then live your best life." Then I packed her bags, called her affair partner to pick her up, and changed the locks within 2 hours. When he refused to let her move in, I, 37 male, flew home early from a work trip because my connecting flight got canceled. Managed to grab an earlier direct flight, figured I'd surprise my wife with takeout and an extra night together. Surprised her all right. Walked into my living room to find her sprawled on the couch, wine bottle half empty, FaceTiming someone while giggling like a teenager. The kind of giggling I hadn't heard directed at me in probably a year. God, I wish you were here instead. she was saying to her screen. Cleared my throat. She literally jumped and almost yeeted her phone across the room. You're home. Early. Why are you early? Flight got rescheduled. Who's that? She angled the phone away from me. Nobody. Just book club stuff. Book club. Her book club met every other week, not daily video calls that required wine and her good push-up bra. Let me see the phone. It's just a friend. God, why are you being weird? I wasn't the jealous type. Never had been. 8 years of marriage, I'd never checked her phone, never questioned girls' nights. Nothing. But the way she was clutching that phone like it contained nuclear launch codes. Walked over before she could stop me and looked at the screen. Some younger guy, shirt open, clearly in a bedroom. He saw me and his face went white before he hung up instantly. Okay, so that's not book club. My wife stood up fast, wobbling. Day drinking and lying, fantastic combo. Before you jump to conclusions. How long? It's really not what it looks like. How long have you been sleeping with him? She froze, bit her lip, looked everywhere except at me. A few months. How many is a few? Does it matter? Yeah, actually, it does. She poured herself more wine with shaking hands. 4 months. But it's not serious, it's nothing. 4 months. While I'd been working 80-hour weeks at the firm, while I'd been planning our anniversary trip, while I'd been paying her car note because she was between projects. What's his name? That's not important. It is if I'm calling him to come get you. Her head snapped up. What? Something just clicked off in my brain, like a light switch. I'd spent 8 years with this woman, paid off her $34,000 in credit card debt, supported her through 3 different career transitions, dealt with her mother treating me like I wasn't good enough, and she'd spent 4 months screwing some guy who hangs out on FaceTime in his bedroom in the middle of the afternoon. You heard me. Call him. Tell him to come get you. Baby, no. Stop. Let's just talk about this. She reached for my arm. I stepped back. Nothing to talk about. You want him. Go be with him. It was a mistake. I'll end it right now, I swear. Cool. Still leaving though. Started walking to the bedroom. She followed me, crying now. Real tears or wine tears, couldn't tell, didn't care. Grabbed her 2 big suitcases from the closet and started throwing her clothes in. Dresses, jeans, those weird athleisure sets she bought and never worked out in. All of it. Please stop. Where am I supposed to go? His place probably, since you've been spending so much time thinking about him anyway. He's not my boyfriend. I stopped and looked at her. What is he then? She opened her mouth. Closed it. Couldn't answer. Kept packing. Shoes, makeup, that expensive hairdryer I bought her for Christmas. Into the bags. She was full on sobbing now, snot and everything. Took me maybe half an hour to get most of her stuff together. Hauled both suitcases to the front door. She'd collapsed back on the couch, crying into a throw pillow. Give me his number. No. Then I'm putting your stuff on the lawn and calling it a day. You can't do this to me. His number or the lawn. Pick one. She gave it to me. Hands shaking, mascara running down her face like a sad raccoon. I called it right there, on speaker. He answered after 3 rings. Hello? Hey man. So I'm the husband. You've been having a good time with my wife for 4 months, right? Dead silence. Here's the situation. She needs somewhere to stay, like permanently. I'm done with this, so you can come pick her and her stuff up or I'm leaving it on the curb. You got 30 minutes to decide. More silence. Then, bro, we don't have that kind of relationship. What kind of relationship do you have? It's casual. Very casual. She can't just, I have roommates, and it's not like we're dating. It was just for fun. Oh, this was beautiful. I actually laughed. Let me get this straight. You've been hooking up with a married woman for 4 months, but it's just for fun? Look, dude, I'm sorry about your situation, but that's between you two. I'm not trying to be part of whatever this is. My wife made a strangled noise and tried to grab the phone. I held it up away from her. So that's a no on picking her up? That's a hard no, man. This is way too much. I'm actually gonna need both of you to lose my number. Good luck with everything. Click. The silence was so thick you could cut it with a knife. My wife stared at her phone like it had personally betrayed her. He didn't mean that. He's just freaked out. If I explain, nope, get your stuff and go. Where? Where am I supposed to go? And that's when it happened. She stood up, face red and blotchy, wine sloshing in her glass. and absolutely lost it. At least he makes me feel alive. You're boring. You're always at work. I needed excitement. I needed more than this. Gestured around at our house, the house I'd bought, that I paid the mortgage on, that had her Pinterest perfect decorating that I'd funded. I looked at her, really looked at her, this person I'd promised forever to, who'd apparently decided 4 months ago that forever was negotiable if someone more exciting came along. Then go live your best life, I said. Walked to the garage, grabbed my toolbox, came back, started unscrewing the deadbolt on the front door. What are you doing? Changing the locks. You can't kick me out. I live here. You live here because I pay for it. House is in my name. You remember? When we bought it, you said the mortgage would stress you out too much, so you wanted to keep things simple. Her face went pale. She'd forgotten about that. Had a new lock set I'd bought months ago during a sale, never got around to installing. Perfect timing, honestly. She went from screaming, to begging, to silent, to trying to call her affair partner over and over while I worked. He never answered. New lock was in before dinner time. Her bag's by the door. You can take your stuff now. I have nowhere to go. Sounds like a you problem. You had somewhere until about an hour ago. She tried her key in the new lock. Didn't work, obviously. Started pounding on the door after I shut it in her face. You can't do this. Open the door. Texted her through the door. Your stuff stays on the porch overnight. Tomorrow it goes to Goodwill. Figure it out. Turned my phone completely off. Made myself dinner. Ate it in peace while she pounded and screamed outside for a solid hour before finally giving up. Okay, so it's been about a week, and I need to update because this has gone completely off the rails. That first night, I'm not gonna lie, I sat there thinking maybe I went too far. 8 years of marriage ended in an afternoon. But then I kept replaying her face on that video call, the way she'd hidden it from me. 4 months of lies while I worked myself half to death. Checked the porch the next morning. Stuff was gone. Found out from my neighbor, who's been eating this drama up with a spoon, that her best friend picked her up around midnight. She'd apparently sat out there crying the entire time. The phone calls started immediately. Not from her number, but from everyone she knew. Her sister hit me up with about 40 texts. How could you? She's destroyed. One mistake and you throw away 8 years? Marriage is supposed to be work. You're a terrible person. Sent back one message. She didn't make one mistake. She made a choice every single day for 4 months to lie to my face. We're done. Her sister called me everything but a child of God. Blocked her. Then my wife started the phone number rotation. Called me from like 15 different numbers. Friends, family, random numbers I'm pretty sure were from the Target checkout. Finally picked up one. What? Baby, please, can we just talk? Face to face? No. I'm crashing on my friend's couch. I can't live like this. Should have thought of that before you decided being alive was more important than being faithful. You're being cruel. I made a mistake. You made 4 months of mistakes. I'm just done cleaning them up. We can go to counseling. I'll do anything. Anything. I want a divorce. She went completely silent. Then, you don't mean that. Lawyer's already drawing up papers. You'll get served soon. I won't sign them. You will eventually, just depends how much money you want to waste on lawyers. Hung up, blocked that number. Few days later, got an unexpected visitor at work. Her mother showed up at my office building, making a scene in the lobby until security called me down. You need to take my daughter back, she screeched the second she saw me. Not happening. She made one mistake. One. Don't you believe in forgiveness? She made about 120 mistakes. One for each day she lied to me for 4 months. Men cheat all the time and their wives forgive them. Cool, she can find one of those guys. I'm not available. Her mom got right in my face. She gave you her youth, the best years of her life. And I gave her financial stability, paid off her debt, and supported every random career change she wanted. I'd say we're even. You're going to regret this. You'll never find anyone else. You're going to die alone. Maybe. But I'll die alone with my dignity intact and my bank account not drained by someone who thinks excitement is more important than loyalty. Security started walking over. Her mom realized she was about to get escorted out. She's my baby. How can you be so heartless? Your baby cheated on me and then blamed me for working too much. She's 35 years old. She can handle consequences. She left screaming about what a monster I was. My boss actually saw the whole thing from the second floor, called me up to his office, thought I was in trouble. Instead, that your ex-mother-in-law? Unfortunately. My sympathies. Take the afternoon, go decompress. And hey, for what it's worth, you're handling this better than I did when my ex pulled similar. Found a letter taped to my door when I got home, from my wife. 6 pages of apologies, explanations, promises. Not once did she actually take responsibility. Everything was either it didn't mean anything, or he pursued me, or you were never home, or I felt neglected. Threw it away without finishing it. My lawyer called a couple days after that. Heads up, your wife's not making this easy. She's asking for half of everything. She contributed nothing. House is in my name, no joint accounts. Doesn't matter. 8 years of marriage, she's entitled to something. Looking at maybe 20 to 30% of marital assets. Made me want to puke. She destroys everything and still gets a cut. But that's how it works apparently. Just get it done. I want her gone. Understood. Might take a few months, but we'll get there. Late one night last week, she showed up at my house, drunk, pounding on the door and screaming at like 2 in the morning. I know you're in there. Let me in. Called the cops. They showed up after about 20 minutes. By then, she'd given up pounding and was just sitting on my porch crying. The officers talked to her first, then knocked on my door. She says this is her house. Showed them the deed. It's not. It's mine. She moved out after I found out she was cheating. She says she has nowhere to go. That's unfortunate, but it's not a legal problem. It's a her problem. Sir, we can't just... I'm not asking you to. I'm asking you to get her off my property, since I've asked her to leave multiple times, and she won't. They talked to her again. She tried telling them I was being abusive. They asked if I'd ever hit her, threatened her, kept her from getting her belongings. No to all of that. She got her stuff when she left. She keeps coming back and harassing me. They made her leave, warned her about trespassing. She left screaming she'd make me pay for this. Next morning, found my car keyed, deep scratches all down the side, jerk carved into the hood. Called the cops again. Filed a report. My neighbor's Ring camera caught her doing it at like 4 in the morning after the police had left. Now she's got vandalism charges on top of the divorce. My lawyer was practically gleeful when I told him, "This is actually great for us. Shows a pattern of harassment and property destruction. Judge is gonna love this." Apparently her lawyer tore her a new one. Heard through a mutual friend that she got a whole lecture about destroying her own case. It's been almost 2 months now since I came home early and found my wife on that video call. Divorce finalized last week. Took way longer than it should because she kept trying to delay it, kept thinking I'd change my mind. Spoiler, I didn't. Final settlement, $25,000 cash, her car that she still owes payments on, and her personal stuff. No alimony, no claim to the house, nothing ongoing. She fought it hard. Her lawyer basically told her take the deal or risk walking away with even less. The vandalism charge, the documented harassment, the proven affair, the trying to manipulate the system, none of it made her look good. In the courtroom, she tried one last play, stood up and addressed the judge directly. "Your Honor, I made a terrible mistake. I want to work on my marriage. He won't even give me a chance to." Judge held up a hand. "Ma'am, your husband filed for dissolution based on adultery. You've damaged his property. You violated a no-contact order. This isn't about chances. This is about ending a marriage that's clearly over. Sign the papers." She signed them, sobbing the whole time, mascara everywhere like a goth clown. Outside the courthouse, she tried talking to me one more time. "I hope you're happy now." Getting there. "I lost everything because of you. You lost everything because you cheated. I just stopped catching you when you jumped. He doesn't even answer my calls anymore. I gave up my whole marriage for nothing. Yeah, that's rough. Do you even care that I'm struggling?" Honest answer? Yeah, a little. You don't spend 8 years with someone and just flip a switch. But caring doesn't mean I have to fix it. Doesn't mean I have to set myself on fire to keep her warm. I care the same way I'd care about anyone going through a hard time. But I'm not responsible for fixing what you broke. She stared at me like she was finally getting it. That I wasn't coming back. That the crying and the showing up and the manipulation wasn't going to work. I really did love you, she said quietly. Maybe, but not enough to not cheat on me for 4 months. That was the last time we talked. So here's where everyone ended up. My ex-wife moved back in with her mother. Got a full-time job at some marketing agency making okay money, but nowhere near enough to maintain her old lifestyle. Her mom apparently charges her rent now. Heard she's in therapy but still tells everyone I'm the bad guy. Her affair partner? Blocked both of us everywhere. Apparently his ex-girlfriend, yeah, he had one the whole time, found out and blasted him all over social media. Last I heard, he moved to another state. My ex-mother-in-law still thinks I'm Satan incarnate. Sent me an email about how I destroyed her daughter. Didn't respond. My ex-sister-in-law actually reached out last week. Apologized, said she'd heard the real story and realized her sister had been lying about a lot of things. We're not friends, but at least someone in that family has some sense. As for me, I'm okay. Some days are hard. House feels empty sometimes. Too quiet. But it's my quiet. Nobody's lying to me in it. Sold the keyed car, got a new one. Figured after all that I deserved something nice. Work's been good. Actually got promoted. Turns out when you're not emotionally destroyed by your spouse's affair, you can focus pretty well. Started therapy to work through trust issues. Making progress. Slowly. Dating? Hell no. The thought of trusting someone like that again makes me physically ill. But I'm working on it. Do I regret how I handled it? Sometimes I wonder if I was too harsh. If I should have at least listened to her explanation that first day. Then I remember her on that video call. The 4 months. Her screaming at me about being boring. Nah. I did what I had to do. She wanted to feel alive? Well, now she is. Fully alive. Broke, living with her mom. Working full-time for the first time in years. Dealing with real consequences. Can't get more alive than that. Me? I'm just rebuilding. Figuring out who I am without her. It's weird starting over at 37, but also kind of freeing in a way. The house is mine, my life is mine, my choices are mine. And honestly, right now, that's enough. To anyone going through something similar, trust your gut. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. And when they try to gaslight you into thinking you're crazy for seeing what's right in front of your face, that's when you know it's time to walk. Also, seriously, change your locks. Best $60 I ever spent. Thanks for letting me get this all out. Helped more than I expected. Time to close this chapter and see what's next. I found a calculator app on my fiance's phone that was actually a secret vault. The password was her ex's birthday. Inside were thousands of messages planning to leave me after the wedding. I printed them as her vows and left them at the altar. Original post: I, 31 male, was supposed to get married yesterday. Keyword: supposed to. My fiancé, 28, and I have been together for 3 years, engaged for 8 months. Wedding was planned for 150 guests, venue booked, deposits paid, dress bought, the whole thing. We'd sunk about $35 into it between both of us. I paid roughly $22 of that. 3 weeks ago I borrowed her phone. Mine was dead, needed to check my work email real quick. She was in the shower. No big deal, we've always been open about phones. Password shared, no secrets. Or so I thought. I unlocked her phone, went to open Chrome and accidentally swiped left instead of right. Brought up her app page. That's when I saw it, a calculator app. But here's the thing, she already had a calculator app, the default iPhone one. This was a different icon, slightly off. Same calculator look, but not quite right. Something in my gut twisted. I'd heard about these. Vault apps that look like normal apps but hide stuff when you put in the right code. I opened it. Calculator interface came up. I tried the basic calculation that supposedly opened some of these. 1, 2, 3, 4 it equals nothing. Tried her birthday. 0328 equals nothing. Then, I don't know why, but I tried her ex's birthday. The one she dated for 5 years before me. The one she claimed she was totally over. 1050 equals. The screen went black for a second. Then opened to a folder full of text message screenshots, photos, and documents. My hand started shaking. I started reading. The messages went back 6 months. Screenshots of text conversations between her and her ex. Thousands of them. Can't wait until this is over. Then we can finally be together. He's so clueless, Lumeo. Actually thinks I love him. The wedding is just to make my parents happy. Dad said he'd pay off my student loans if I settled down with a good man. After the wedding, I'll give it 6 months, file for divorce, and we can be together. Dad will have already paid the loans. He makes good money. I'll probably get alimony too. My lawyer said I should be fine. I know this sounds awful, but he's like a placeholder. You're who I actually want to be with. This is just financially smart. Message after message, discussing their future together. Her calling me boring, saying I was safe and stable, but not what she really wanted. Making fun of things I'd said, things I'd done, inside jokes about me. Photos of us together, with her captioning them, "Kill me now." Her ex was in on it, encouraging it. They'd been seeing each other the whole time, meeting up when I was at work. The girls' nights she'd been having, not with her friends. I sat on the bathroom floor outside the shower, reading through everything. Felt like I was going to throw up. She came out of the shower. "What's wrong? You look pale." I just stared at her, handed her the phone, vault open. The color drained from her face. "Baby, wait, that's not." "Not what?" "Not exactly what it looks like?" She started crying. The waterworks came on instantly. "It was a mistake. We were just talking. It didn't mean anything. There are 6 months of messages here. Detailed plans to marry me for financial gain and then leave me. That's fraud. That's not a mistake." "No, you're taking it out of context." I was confused. "I didn't mean those things. You called me a placeholder. You said I was clueless. You've been cheating on me for 6 months while planning a wedding." "I haven't been cheating. We just talked." I pulled up one of the messages. Read it out loud. "Can't wait to feel you inside me again. It's been too long. Next Tuesday when he's at his conference." I'd been at a conference 3 weeks ago. Tuesday night. "Tell me that's just talking." She crumbled, started full-on sobbing. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. It was a mistake. I love you. He means nothing. It was cold feet, wedding jitters. I'll cut him off right now, please. The wedding is in 3 weeks. I know, and I want to marry you, only you. Please, we can work through this." I grabbed my phone charger, my wallet, my keys. "I'm gonna stay at my buddy's place. Don't contact me." "Wait, please. We can fix this." I left. Spent the last 3 weeks at my friend's apartment, reading through everything multiple times, consulting with a lawyer about my options, making a decision. Here's what I learned from the lawyer. What she did isn't technically illegal in our state. Marrying someone under false pretenses isn't fraud unless you lie about specific legal things, identity, existing marriage, etc. Her planning to divorce me quickly for financial gain is scummy but not criminal. I could cancel the wedding, get back whatever deposits were refundable, not many, tell everyone what happened, move on. Or I could let her show everyone who she really is. I called her a week ago, kept my voice neutral. "I've been thinking, I overreacted. Let's talk." She was ecstatic. "Oh my God, yes. Thank you. I knew you'd understand. It was just cold feet. I love you so much." We met for coffee. She apologized profusely, swore she'd cut off her ex, said she wanted only me, cried about how scared she was that I'd leave her. I told her I forgave her, that we'd work through it, that the wedding was still on. She hugged me, kissed me, told me I was amazing, that she'd spend forever making it up to me. I spent the next 2 weeks preparing, went to the print shop, printed out 150 copies of the most damning messages, full screenshots with timestamps, her number visible, contact names clear, compiled them into a neat little booklet. About 20 pages worth. The cover page said, "The vows she actually meant," a collection of text messages between her name and ex's name. I told the wedding coordinator there was a change to the ceremony program, that I'd be distributing special booklets instead of the standard programs. She thought it was sweet, some kind of love letter compilation. Yesterday was the wedding day. I got dressed, showed up at the venue, played the part of the happy groom. Guests arrived. Each one got handed a booklet by the ushers. Most people just tucked them away, figured they'd read them during the boring parts of the ceremony. The ceremony started. She walked down the aisle in her $4,000 dress, smiling, thinking she'd won, thinking she'd fooled me. We got to the altar. Officiant started his speech about love and commitment. Then he got to the vows portion. And now, the groom has prepared something special for his bride. I pulled out my own copy of the booklet from my jacket pocket. Looked at her. Her smile started to falter. "I thought about writing traditional vows," I said, loud enough for everyone to hear. "But then I realized you'd already written your own vows. Just not to me." I held up the booklet. So I decided to share them with everyone here. Her face went white. She started to reach for me. Don't. Page 1, I continued. A text from 6 months ago where you tell your ex that I'm a placeholder, that you're only marrying me so your dad will pay off your student loans. People started opening their booklets, flipping through pages. I heard gasps from the pews. Page 5 has some nice ones, where you discuss meeting up with him while I was at work. Page 7 has your plans for our honeymoon, which apparently you were going to cut short to fly back and see him. Her mother stood up. What is going on? Your daughter has been planning to divorce me approximately 6 months after today. It's all documented in that booklet. Thousands of messages between her and her ex, including the ones where she admits she's marrying me for money and stability while actually wanting to be with him. The venue erupted. People yelling, her mother screaming, her bridesmaids trying to grab the booklets from guests. I looked at my almost wife. She was crying, shaking, trying to speak but nothing coming out. I found your Vault app, I said quietly, just to her. The calculator one. Password was his birthday, by the way. Might want to be less obvious next time you commit fraud. Then I walked out. Left her at the altar in her expensive dress, surrounded by 150 people who now knew exactly who she was. Drove to the airport, took the honeymoon trip by myself, cashed in both tickets for credit, used it to fly somewhere else entirely. Turned off my phone. That was yesterday. I'm writing this from a hotel room in a city I've never been to before, drinking overpriced minibar whiskey, and honestly, I feel okay. Not great, not terrible, just okay. My phone's been off since the ceremony, probably hundreds of messages waiting, don't care. She wanted a memorable wedding, she got one. Update 1, 4 days later, turned my phone back on this morning. 326 texts, 89 calls, voicemails full. Let me break down the categories. Her, 143 texts ranging from how could you to you're a monster to please talk to me to I'm going to sue you to I still love you. Her mother, 37 texts and multiple voicemails about how I humiliated her daughter and ruined her reputation and how I'm going to pay for this. Her father, 2 texts, both just said call me when you can. My family, supportive. My mom called to ask if I was okay. My brother texted, legendary bro, absolutely legendary. Friends, split, some thought I went too far. Most understood. Her bridesmaids, several angry texts about how I'm abusive and cruel. One of them, though, texted me privately. I knew something was off. She talked about you like you were a job, not a relationship. You did the right thing. Random guests, people I barely knew texting to say they were sorry or that they understood or asking what happens next. And then there were the texts from her ex. Yeah. He reached out. Dude, that was messed up. You didn't have to do that to her. She's devastated. I replied, you were helping her plan to commit marriage fraud. Stay out of my life. Him, it wasn't fraud. She just had doubts. Everyone has doubts. She had a 6-month affair and was marrying me specifically to get her dad to pay off loans before divorcing me. That's not doubts. That's a con. You're just bitter. I blocked him, checked my bank account. The wedding venue charged me a cleaning fee. Apparently several guests got into arguments during the chaos and security had to escort people out. One of her uncles threw a booklet at her cousin who defended me. Whole thing was a disaster. Cost me an extra $800. Worth every penny. Called the hotel where we booked the honeymoon suite before I switched my trip. Explained the situation. They were surprisingly cool about it, said they'd heard wedding drama stories, but this was a new one. Refunded the room. Another $2,300 back. Called my lawyer. Told him what happened. He was quiet for a long moment, then said, I can't decide if that was brilliant or insane. Probably both. She could technically sue you for emotional distress or defamation, but given the messages are real and you can prove everything, she'd likely lose. Plus, suing would just make it all public record. My guess is she won't. He was right. She hasn't lawyered up yet. Got a call from her father yesterday. Against my better judgment, I answered, him, I heard what happened. I'm sure you have. My daughter told me her side. I'm sure she did. Did her side include the part where she was planning to use you to pay off her loans, marry me for stability, then divorce me for alimony so she could be with her ex? Long silence. She said you misunderstood some messages. Did she show you the messages? Because I have all of them. I can forward them to you if you'd like to see what you were funding. Another pause. Him. That won't be necessary. Me, did you pay off her loans yet? I was going to transfer the money this week. Might want to rethink that. I appreciate you telling me what was going on. I'm sorry this happened to you. Thanks. He hung up. Decent guy, honestly. Feel bad for him. His daughter played him too. My friend, whose couch I'd been crashing on before all this, texted, "Dude, when are you getting back? We need to talk about what you're doing next." Good question. I'd taken the week off work for the honeymoon, still had 3 days left. The city I flew to was nice, but I wasn't really present, just going through motions. Decided to head home, face the music, deal with the fallout. Flew back yesterday. Got to my apartment. It's weird being here. She'd moved some of her stuff in over the last few months. Not everything, but enough that there are gaps now. Her toothbrush holder, her favorite mug, the throw pillows she insisted we needed. I boxed up everything of hers I could find, put it by the door, texted her, "Your stuff is boxed up. You can pick it up this weekend. Let me know when you're coming so I'm not here." She replied within minutes, "Can we please talk, face to face?" Me, "No, you owe me that much. I don't owe you anything. You can get your stuff or I'm donating it. Choose." "You're being cruel." I didn't respond. She showed up Saturday with her sister and mother. I stayed at my buddy's place. He went to my apartment to supervise. Texted me updates. "Friend, they're here. Mom is pissed. Giving me death glares." Her sister asked where you were. Told her you didn't want to be here. She called you a coward. They're arguing about whose fault this is. Mom blames your ex. Sister blames you. Your ex is crying. They're taking the boxes. Mom just asked if you're keeping the ring. I said I don't know. The ring, right? I'd completely forgotten about the engagement ring. $8,500. Still have it. Brent, they're gone. Place is clear. Your ex left you a note. I went back to the apartment, found the note on the kitchen counter. "I know you hate me. I know I messed up. But what you did was worse. You humiliated me in front of everyone I know. My family is furious with me. I've lost friends. My reputation is destroyed. All because I had some doubts about us. You could have just talked to me. We could have worked through it. Instead, you chose to be vindictive. I hope you're happy with yourself. I hope it was worth ruining my life." Not a single apology. Not a single acknowledgement of what she actually did. Just victim mentality. I crumpled up the note, threw it away. Update 2. 2 weeks later. Things escalated. First, her mother started a phone campaign. Called my mother, crying about how I destroyed her baby's life. My mom, bless her, shut that down fast. "Mom, your daughter was committing fraud. My son did what he had to do." Her mother, "He humiliated her publicly. There were better ways to handle it." She humiliated herself. She wrote those messages. He just made sure people knew the truth before she could scam him. Her mother hung up on my mom. Then called my brother. He didn't answer. Then came the Facebook post. Her mother wrote a long, detailed post about abusive men who punish women for having cold feet, and publicly shaming your partner is emotional abuse, and how I was controlling and vindictive. Didn't name me directly, but everyone knew who it was about. The comments were mixed. Some of her friends and family rallied around her. Others, including people who were at the wedding and read the booklets, called out the post. One comment that got a ton of likes. She wasn't having cold feet. She was actively planning to commit marriage fraud. There's a difference. Her mother blocked everyone who disagreed with her. My ex started her own campaign. Posted vague quotes about betrayal and learning who your real friends are and surviving narcissistic abuse. Again, didn't name me, but the implication was clear. I was the abuser. She was the victim. Some people bought it. Most people who'd been at the wedding or seen the booklets didn't. Then things got weirder. Her ex, the one she'd been planning to run away with, posted a long thing about supporting the woman he loves through hard times and standing by her side against hatred. Apparently, they were going public with their relationship now. 2 weeks after she was supposed to marry me, someone commented, "Wasn't she engaged to someone else like 2 weeks ago?" He replied, "Sometimes you can't help who you love. We tried to stay apart, but we can't deny our connection anymore." The mental gymnastics were impressive. Then I got a call from an unknown number. answered it. Is this my name? Who's asking? This is law firm name. We're calling on behalf of my ex's name. She'd like to discuss a settlement regarding the emotional distress caused by your actions at the wedding. I laughed. Couldn't help it. A settlement? Yes. Our client has suffered significant emotional harm, damage to her reputation, and potential lost economic opportunities due to your public disclosure of private communications. She's willing to settle for $25,000 to avoid litigation. Let me get this straight. She wants me to pay her $25,000 because I exposed her plan to commit marriage fraud. Our client disputes the characterization of her actions as fraud. The messages were taken out of context. Your public distribution of private communications. Were they private? Because they were about me, about plans that directly affected my life. That's not private. We believe we have grounds for a defamation suit. Defamation requires false statements. Everything in those booklets was true. Direct screenshots of her actual messages. Truth is an absolute defense against defamation. You know this. I know you know this. So either you're a real lawyer billing her by the hour, knowing this will go nowhere, or you're her cousin pretending to be a lawyer. Which is it? Pause. Our offer stands. You have 1 week to respond. They hung up. I called my lawyer, told him about the call. Lawyer, they're bluffing. No legitimate attorney would take that case. It's probably a friend or family member trying to scare you. Ignore it. Me, and if they do sue? Lawyer, then we countersue for the cost of the wedding, emotional distress, fraud, and anything else we can think of. She'd be opening herself up to way more legal trouble than you. I doubt she's that stupid. He was right. The lawsuit never materialized. But the harassment didn't stop. Her bridesmaids started leaving negative reviews on my business's website. I'm a freelance consultant. Didn't name me directly, just vague complaints about unethical practices and can't be trusted. I reported them to the platform. Most got taken down for being fake reviews with no transaction history. One of her cousins showed up at my apartment building. Building manager called me. Manager, there's a woman in the lobby saying she needs to talk to you. Says it's urgent. Should I let her up? Me? What does she look like? He described her. Her cousin. The one who'd been particularly vocal on social media. No, she's not welcome here. If she doesn't leave, call the police. You got it. She apparently left after he told her the police were being called. Then my ex herself showed up, caught me leaving for the gym. She was waiting by my car. We need to talk. No, we don't. Please. 5 minutes. I have nothing to say to you. Fine. Then listen. What you did was unforgivable. You had no right. I had every right. You were planning to defraud me, to use me. Everything I did was legal. Everything you did was manipulative and wrong. I made a mistake. People make mistakes. For 6 months? That's not a mistake. That's a calculated plan. I would have stopped. I was confused. You were confused about whether to keep lying to me or just go ahead and marry me anyway before running off with your ex? Yeah, real confusing. I deserve to be confronted privately, not humiliated in public. You deserve to have everyone who was about to watch you make fraudulent vows know the truth. They deserved to know who they were celebrating. I gave them that information. You're heartless. I'm not the one who called my fiancé a placeholder. I'm not the one who mocked him to my affair partner. I'm not the one planning to use him for money. She started crying. Again. I loved you. No, you didn't. You loved what I could provide. There's a difference. I got in my car and drove away. Watched her in the rearview mirror, standing in the parking lot, crying. Felt nothing. Final update. 6 weeks later, life has settled into a new normal. Figured I'd post one last update since people keep asking. The harassment mostly stopped. Her mother blocked me on everything. My ex stopped trying to contact me after the parking lot encounter. Her bridesmaids moved on to whatever drama comes next. Got a formal letter from an actual lawyer 2 weeks ago. Not a lawsuit, just a letter requesting I remove her contact information from the booklets if I had any remaining copies and cease any further distribution. Reasonable request. I didn't have any more copies anyway. The print shop deleted the order after printing, so I just had my lawyer send back a letter confirming I wouldn't distribute anything further. That was the end of it legally. Financially, the wedding debacle cost me about $18,000 total after refunds. She'd contributed $3,000. Her father was supposed to contribute $10,000 but pulled that after learning what she'd done. So the vendors came after both of us for the remaining balances. We each paid half of what was owed. I got my $18K loss, she got her $11K loss. Her $3K original contribution plus her half of what wasn't covered. Venue, caterer, and photographer were the big ones that wouldn't refund anything. The engagement ring? I sold it. Got $6,200 for it. Basically a $2,300 loss, but better than keeping it. Used that money to take an actual vacation. Somewhere tropical. Spent a week reading books on a beach and not thinking about any of this. Came back refreshed. Started therapy. My therapist said I showed signs of betrayal trauma, which makes sense. Also said my revenge, while dramatic, wasn't technically unhealthy given the circumstances. Just needed to make sure I processed the actual hurt, not just the anger. Working on that. My ex, according to mutual friends, the few that still exist, moved in with her ex-boyfriend, the one she'd been planning to leave me for. They're apparently madly in love now. Her student loans are still unpaid. Her father didn't pay them off. She's been complaining about the payments on social media. Some of her friends dropped her after everything came out. Others stuck by her, but even they admit it was messed up what she did. Even if they think my response was extreme, my family's been great. Mom checks in weekly. Brother took me out for beers and told me he was proud of how I handled it. Dad just nodded and said, "You did what you had to do." Work's been good. Business picked up actually. Turns out having a reputation for not tolerating nonsense is attractive to certain clients. I'm not dating. Not ready. Probably won't be for a while. Trust issues are real. The idea of letting someone that close again, giving them that much power to hurt me. Not there yet. But I'm okay. Really. Genuinely okay. Someone asked me in a DM if I regret the altar thing. If I think it was too far? Honest answer? No. Could I have handled it differently? Sure. Could have just canceled the wedding privately. Told people we broke up. Let her save face, but she would have lied. Told everyone I was the problem. Spun some story about me being controlling or abusive or whatever. Made herself the victim. By showing everyone the truth up front, by putting her own words in her own handwriting out there, I made sure the truth was undeniable. No he said, she said. Just facts. Was it dramatic? Absolutely. Was it petty? Maybe. Was it satisfying? In the moment? Yes. But more importantly, it was honest. And after months of her dishonesty, of her manipulation, of her planning to use me, honesty felt necessary. The people who needed to know the truth knew it. The people who wanted to believe her version would have believed it anyway, regardless of when or how I exposed her. I chose to expose her in a way that was dramatic and undeniable. That's on me. I own it. But I don't regret it. She made her choices. I made mine. She has to live with hers now, just like I have to live with mine, and I'm living fine. Thanks for following this mess. Time to close this chapter and move forward.